Welcome to A Bit of Insight with Lisa Mosbey, your weekly dose of health, wealth, and everything else. Discover how clarity, simplicity, and purpose can restore energy and spark what truly matters. Welcome back to A Bit of Insight. I'm your host, Lisa Mosbey, entrepreneur advisor, holistic living guide, and champion for work that matters. Today I am honored to welcome Anh Jorgensen, and Anh is an ICF certified legacy coach. After 2 decades guiding high achievers towards financial and professional success, Anh recognized a painful truth. Many entrepreneurs feel disconnected despite outward triumph. That discovery led her to coach with intention, helping clients step off the hamster wheel and reconnect with what truly matters. Anh, thanks so much for joining us today. Let's learn how we reclaim our legacy without sacrificing the life we love. Welcome, Anh.
Hello, good morning, Lisa. Why your introduction sounds so great.
Yeah, you are great. You're amazing. We've known each other for a couple of years now, but we've never actually met face to face. We met through a networking group, and it's always it's just amazing to me how we can connect with people and become such close connections or even friends when we've never actually even been in the same state a lot of times, but haven't met people face to face. How does that play into your life? Because I think, if I recall correctly, you're first generation American, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
An American is the country of citizenship. It's not nationality. Yes, I am the first generation immigrant here.
Yeah. And where did you immigrate from?
I'm actually from Vietnam, and I just
Vietnam.
got the scholarship to study in Switzerland and then an opportunity to work here as an intern. Yeah.
Yeah. But you've been here quite a while
Yes,
and you took your citizenship. Yeah.
yes, I worked here as an intern, and then I decided to go back to school, and that's where I met my husband, and then I made my home here. Yeah.
You make your home here, yeah. And I loved your story, and that's why I wanted to talk to you, because one of the things that you do is you created a course and you're working with other immigrants to help them kind of find their way as entrepreneurs here. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey, how you went from real estate to mindset work to becoming a certified legacy coach?
Oh, yeah. Thank you for asking that. It's a long journey,
Yeah.
and it started with good grade. When you were kids, you just have good grade, and then you pass your exam, and then you get into good school, and you graduated, and then you landed a good job. Things just go like that. But then something inside was just not right. It was not quite right. It's the same in Vietnam. It's the same here. I got good scholarship, good intern, getting to a good place to work, but something just keep telling me that's something that is not right. Every morning I need to pep talk myself, and I'm like, what's going on? Um, when the light is not even on yet, I already dropped my son as the first kid at his Montessori school. And when I got home from work, he always already asleep. So never had a chance to meet him, and it's just gone like that for several years. Um, and on one day, I thought that I will get promoted. I saved my clients thousands of dollars. But my boss called me in and they said, well, and the oil and gas went down, economic downturn. There was no expat for you to do tax. I did tax at the time. And they let me go, just like that. I've been let go. And just like that, I wonder what's next, what's going on. I sacrificed all this, all the time that I could have with my son, and I did everything that everybody could expect of me. And why did I receive this? Why did I deserve this? And worse yet, this is the question that went on in my mind at the time. I didn't care so much about how I could support my family because I know that I could just apply for another job. But then in my mind, the question pop up was, well, who am I if I don't have this job? So I tie my identity with my job at the time because it's my American dream. I got it. I worked for Big Four. Everybody really looked up to me. I was a senior tax preparer, but to me at the time it was so big. Um, and I got the money that nobody in my family ever earned before. So I was on top of the clown, and that was my identity at the time. And now I didn't have it anymore, and who I am. So that was a very rough journey for me to figure out who I really am without this job, without all of this expectation from others. And what do I really want to do? And that lead me to an entrepreneur with real estate. And then I figured out that real estate is really good in flexible time and helping others. But then I still missing something. I want to guide people to legacy, and that's why I changed it again into a legacy coach. Yeah.
One of the things, and it's just such a beautiful story. It's sometimes we need to be shocked, like shocked out of our system before we actually pursue the dreams and desires of our hearts. I mean, I hear it over and over again when people share their origin stories that they oftentimes have a trauma or a challenge or some turbulence that pushes them out of being, you know, in that mindset. And one of the things that I've heard you talk about before is saboteurs. You know, we have these inner saboteurs in our mind, in our psyche, maybe in our past or our history, and they often show up in entrepreneurs and start to get in our way and cause us kind of to delay what it is that our dreams and desires are. We're doing the should. What should we do? Can you speak to the saboteurs? Like, why do we put our life on delay thinking this is it, even though we have that nagging sensation, that feeling inside of us that we want more? What's one of the tips or tricks that you used, or maybe that you coach people on to identify those saboteurs and help them to start getting on the path of their dreams and desires?
Oh, wonderful. And this is a long journey to figure it out, actually. Well, to start with, you inherit the blueprint, the success blueprint from your family, from your friends, from your society, and you just thought that that was your blueprint. So that was first one. And then during the time you get it, you usually lean on your strength. You lean on your strength. If you are good at building relationship, then you lean on your strength on that. If you're good at showing your achievement, then you lean on your strength on that. And with time, when you overuse it, and then it's become your saboteurs. The very thing that helped you there could sabotage your whole process. And let's say the people who are really good at building the relationship, sometimes they could be a pleaser, the people pleaser. They could just put other people benefit on top of themselves and just try to be as pleased as possible. And with the higher achiever, it's not high achiever, it's hyper achiever. Then they could go on and achieve, but not within the motivation within themselves, but with the motivation to prove, with the external approval. And that was when it's never enough. The more they do, the less they feel about themselves. And like I can do more, I can prove more. And just like that, they keep doing it. And I was them. I was them for a long time, for my whole life. Never feel enough. And always getting to the next. Never stop and look back and celebrate. Um, and until I figure out this program called the mental fitness or positive intelligence, and I realized that, oh, I need it back. At first, I went in with a group and I lead the coaching part. But when I do the assessment, I realized I was higher in all than any other partner in my part. So I was run by those saboteurs my whole life. Yes, I was run by those saboteurs. And that's when I realized it. But if you want to figure it out, there is a quick way. You can just take the assessment, and I can send you the assessment so that everybody that want to know can always take it. But assessment is one thing. How you deal with it is another thing. Because the more you think about it and do it your way, the more you get trapped in that hamster wheel. That is your pattern. The more you try to get out, the more you get tangled in there. So the way to untangle it is taking a little bit at a time. Awareness is start, but then you do need to have the mental fitness program that built in, and I can talk more about that as well. Yeah,
I've heard you talk about how discipline becomes a distraction. You've said that entrepreneurs often confuse momentum with pressure, and I think that probably drives into, you said, hyper. What was it? Hyper entrepreneurs rather than
achiever, hyper
hyperachiever.
achiever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like I see that in so many entrepreneurs. I have been that. You mentioned that that's where kind of where you were at, where you lived in that world when you when you were an entrepreneur. And I think sometimes there might be, I don't know, maybe a cost to mindset, like, how our mindset works and where we want to go with things. We need a coach sometimes. Even coaches need coaches to sometimes decipher this, to actually use the assessment, look at our own behavior, and figure out, why do I have that nagging feeling inside of me? And how do I get past that? What is your role as a legacy coach, and how is that different than traditional coaches?
Beautiful, beautiful question. So at first I didn't really realize my angle of mastery
Yeah.
in this case. I just jump in and a friend of mine just reaching out one day and say, "And I want to be like that guy." She just transferred money in my account. I'm like, oh, what could I do? What could I do? What did I do to that guy? I didn't know. But through the time I worked with her, I realized the difference that I brought. And right now, at the time, it was very primitive. But right now, I realize that it's just go inside and figure out what I call fulfillment DNA is. So we need to know our deepest strength, then our core nature or the essence, and then the core values. So that intersection, we need to know what make us different and what skill that we have. It's not the normal skill, but it's the strength that we have, the core strength that we have. Then the nature, what set it apart from others, how we are in normal, and what is our energy energy patterns, what is our energy signature. what is our way of behave, how is our presence, how is our listening. Those things make us different. And then our core value, what we say yes to, what we say no to, what really define our roadmap of our internal GPS. And that was our compass. But a lot of the time, the professional out there just master this professional mask, or their persona, and they forgot about these things. But these things are the things that make them bond with others. These things are the things that make them unique, that they don't need to fight against other um, to be better. They just be themselves. Yes. So that's what I help others discover, and it's called the fulfillment DNA. And you know what? It's so funny with my friends that I told you that she come to me to be like that guy. We worked together, and I realized that she was an expert of organizing her office and dispatch. She was in trucking business. And after we talk about it, then I'm like, this is what you do really well. This is the skill that you have, but it's not your core strength. Um, and we figure out her core strength. She sit with me and she did all the work. Then she create a new organization, put her business in there, raised the fees, and then all of a sudden her income went double with her working hours. It's less, right? And then she saw opportunity here and there to do the container yard, and just like that, she improved her income by double and triple with less work. So that was the power of working in our fulfillment DNA, to know our fulfillment DNA and work in our core strength and lean on to our essence and really know our core value. Yeah.
That's so beautifully said. Core strength essence. The word essence just resonated with me when you said that. I was like, what is I need to know what my essence is. How does that play into? And I think that we start out on a path and think we've got it figured out. But for those of us that still have that longing, that comes from that fulfillment DNA, that essence that you're talking about. Like just because I'm good at something doesn't mean that that's my life's purpose, right? That's what I'm hearing you say. Yeah.
Yeah. And that essence also um, is funny when we didn't pay attention to it, we didn't know what to do. And the essence is not what you do, but it's how you do it. It's
Mhm.
how you do it. I have my accountability partner, and she was a surgeon. She was a doctor, right? But she always fighting with herself, and she's like, I don't want to work this long time, and also volunteer for this crisis suicide emergency line. And she was like, I just want to be with my girls. She had three little kids at home. And she always missing them, even though her work is very rewarding, is helping and saving people, right? But then she's always have that nagging. She said, "What can I do? What can I do?" And worse yet, she always think about her parents already invested so much in her study for 6 years in medical center, in medical school. Then how can she even think about turning it all off? But then eventually she became a mom coach, and she had this Unstoppable Moms program, and she was so happy right now. She touched the life of many others. And she has the program for healthcare provider. And she helped them to gain back their work-life balance. And she had time with her kids. She made huge impact, and she never be better. And she never feel better. So that was when she listened to her essence. Instead of being the healer, the curer, she's now a nurturer, and she honored that. And that's when if you honor that, it's not just the work that you do feel better, but then you also feel it inside you, and it make you feel stronger and want to wake up every morning to do it. Yeah, so that was the essence. If we realize it and we honor it.
The word that comes to mind makes me think of satisfaction. We think of I'll use the dinner plate when we have a meal. I think in India, and their cuisine includes seven different tastes, like bitter and acrid and sweet and salty, and I don't even know what the other three are, but they try to include all of those different flavors so that when you eat your meal, you're no longer hungry. You're satisfied. You've satisfied every area of your palate with these different flavors. And so when I don't know why that popped in, why that analogy makes sense to me, but what I'm hearing you say is when we start to feed our essence, we may be doing things a little bit differently, but we're still doing the things that we're good at. We're still doing the things that feed our desire and our dreams, and kind of it takes away the longing. We become satisfied in our life, and we revel in our life and can get up and look forward to getting up and doing those things. Uh, you have a 7-day blueprint. Is that something that helps people walk through this? You had mentioned an assessment, and then there's the 7-day blueprint. So tell me about this process. How does someone walk through this process of finding their essence, their core strength, discovering what would actually truly satisfy them?
Yes, yes. So beautifully said, by the way. The way you rephrase it, it makes it so beautiful and just hit right on. Um,
Thanks.
so my blueprint is at first it start with the audit. So this is a different than the saboteurs assessment. This is a fulfillment DNA audit
Audit.
where we will see where your strength line and where's your essence lies and what is your core values. So once we know all that, then we'll be able to figure out where you want to go. If you want to go there, what do you need? What is the gap that you have right now? And then we come up with this 90 days action. How can you walk there? And within what you want to do right now,
Yeah,
and based on your strength and your passion and everything that we learned from this fulfillment DNA, then we create that plan, 90-day plan, and that the whole thing is your blueprint. Now you know your blueprint, and then you have the map, and you know how you can get over there.
beautiful.
That is the program that I offer just to help people gain clarity. And the program has this four pillar. The first is the clarity, and then it come to create. You create the gap, the map for you, and then come to commit. This is where you need to realize your saboteurs. You commit to start and commit to finish, then you co-elevate with others. So that is my home program with the four C's pillar of clarity, create, commit, and co-elevate.
I love that. Yeah. What does living your legacy look like today for you? Um, what are your hopes for the entrepreneurs that you serve?
Oh, there are a lot.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe I'm a little ambitious myself, but I saw a lot of people that has beautiful soul
Mm,
and they are so unique, but they just fit in those molds, and that break my heart.
yeah.
And sometimes they have those limitations that they put on themselves.
Yeah.
My hope is for everybody to figure out what makes them down and use that strength and think about it as a strength instead of the limitation, and just go on and create their future, create their legacy. And it stemmed from this parents of my friends. So I met these friends over the time I've been here, and her parents came here to the US to live with her to support her. While
Hmm.
back home in Vietnam, he was a surgeon and she was a stay-at-home mom, very talented. She took a photograph, and she's a very talented photographer. And she stayed home to take care of her three kids. And coming here, their English was not as good, so they need to go back to school, study English as second language. Then he took janitor work at the school. It's a community college where he studied English. And there's nothing wrong with that um, for the time being. But then 3 years later, I met them again, and he's still there. He's still there, still doing the janitor work, and she's still there, still study there. And I say, so what's next? And he's like, I'm too old already, and I don't have any and my English was not as good as anybody here. So I think this is it for me. I'm like, well, there's nothing wrong about having a job, but it's not to the level of his strength that I
Yes.
see. And
Yeah.
it broke my heart. I'm like, no, no, you should not just stay here. You should go there and do your thing. But then I look back in the mirror and I saw myself at the time. I was really like, oh no, I was on the same boat. I came here to the US and I tried to be on par, learn the language, and try to fit in. And just like that, I lost myself. And that was the motivation behind all of this legacy program. I really want people to look to mirror and see themselves and see their uniqueness and know that that is their strength. It's nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to hide. They don't need to fit in. And everything starts with knowing their blueprint. Yes. So that is my wish for every entrepreneur out there, that they can figure their fulfillment DNA and can live by it. Yeah.
I got goosebumps from that. I did. It's like, oh, it was like so touching because I know where you come from. You are like this big, huge, heart-centered entrepreneur and just pour love into people that you work with. And it's such an honor for folks. And that's why I said it was an honor for me to actually get to interview you today. Honor is the word that comes to mind when I think of you because of how you treat others and how you deserve to be honored in that. If folks want to work with you on, where do they find you?
Right now, I have the LinkedIn. You just look up my name, Ann Jorgensen, and then all of the social platform. You just look up my name, and you will find it. I'm still in the process of creating my website. Once I have that, I will send it your way as well. Yeah.
Beautiful. And so, folks, you can reach out and find all of her connections. Her social media connections will be in the notes. And if you don't find them, feel free to reach out to me. I want to leave you with this. What a powerful reminder that success without fulfillment isn't really success at all. And Ann Jorgensen gave us a fresh lens today, one that invites us to trade the grind of groundedness for something better. Like, let's not postpone the life that we truly want to live when it's We have access. It's available to us with a little bit of help, a little bit of work, and a little bit of coaching. Whether you're feeling stuck in the pursuit of more all the time or just ready to reconnect with your joy, what brings you happiness? Remember this, your legacy isn't someday, it's right now. So take a pause. Ask the deeper question. Create with intention the life that you want to live. Because when you do, you don't just build a business, you build a life that energizes you. And that's the kind of legacy that lasts. That's what we want our children to see. That's the person that we want people to know. So until next time, I'm Lisa Mosbey, inviting you to stay curious, live on purpose, and never stop seeking insight. See you next week.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the session today. Yeah.
My
Bye.
pleasure. Thanks for joining me on A Bit of Insight. To get more involved with our wellness community, grab a copy of my book, Live Well, Travel Far, or to explore our travel offerings, visit the website at insightcenterforwellness.com. And if today's episode gave you something to think about, leave a review and please share it with a friend. This is Lisa Mosbey reminding you to live well, travel far, and always follow your insight.